Hey guys, welcome back to CapView. So today I'm going to be doing a recap, a review of a TV series. Now I haven't done one of these since I think The Witcher, which was like, I believe my first upload on this channel. So it's like come full circle to the next TV series that has been has been knighted. The next TV series that is worthy of me doing a recap of. There's been lots of series, to be fair, that I've watched that have been really great. I just haven't really done it on this channel. But I actually am looking into doing like a top 10 TV series list for you guys for what to watch on Netflix, but in particular, because a lot of the shows I watch are available on Netflix. But we're gonna recap Jupiter's Legacy today. So Jupiter's Legacy, real quick overview of what the TV show is about. It's dropped on Netflix. It's an 8-episode series, so you can binge watch it. It's nice, quick. Although the episodes feel quite long, actually. I don't remember exactly how long per episode. I'm gonna guess like 45 minutes, but I'm not sure on that. But yeah, 8 episodes. So I binge watched it in 2 days. It stars Josh Duhamel and Leslie Bibb, and I'm gonna say that's it because I don't know the other actors' names. I'm not familiar with them. I don't think most of the actors in this show aren't very well known, at least to me. So these are the main actors they're the actors that I know, and they're actually the main reason that I decided to give this show a go. It is another superhero TV show. We've had a lot of superhero stuff. You know, there's The Boys, but I have never seen The Boys. I'm coming off of Zack Snyder's Justice League, of course. So it's been a lot of superhero content. Now, this show, Jupiter's Legacy, is actually based on a comic book series called Jupiter's Legacy, I believe, and I have not ever read it or seen or heard of it. So it's pretty cool, though, that they're staying true to the source material, because if you go back and actually look at the comic book series itself, it's really cool to see, like, the animations and then see what they've done with the characterization for live action. So that's pretty cool. I think that they stuck pretty close to the source material for the most part, for most characters. So a quick overview of what the show is really about. So it's in the superhero genre, as I mentioned just before. Now, it basically revolves around Josh Duhamel's character. His name is Sheldon, and he's basically he's like the leader. He's called the Utopian, and he's like the leader of this Utopian group. So there's 6 heroes that became they had superpowers, and they basically formed an alliance and a team, and they had a code that they live by. And Josh Duhamel's character is really where it sort of focuses in on. It centers all around him, and it flashes back, which is really cool, between the past and the present, and we get to see who these people were when they were people before they got their powers. And then we get to see the present timeline, where you see like how basically broken everything is, and then they're old now, and they've been around for like I think a century, and it's crazy to see the flashback timeline. It's very well done. I will say that it's very rich in storyline, and I really like the timepiece work. You know, sometimes when they do flashbacks and they do like a genre time, it doesn't really always work, and I think that they did that quite well with this. Specifically, again, focusing in on Josh Duhamel, and there's another character, I forget the actor's name, he's pretty cool too. But I mainly watch this for Josh Duhamel and Leslie Bibb. I'm a big fan of Leslie Bibb. I haven't seen her in ages. I think the last time I saw her, it was like when I was in like high school, and I'm gonna put up here. I'm gonna put the show or whatever it was that I saw her in. It was ages ago, and I remember watching it, and I really liked her, and I haven't seen her in anything since. It's been like at least a decade since I've seen her work. I'm sure she might have done something, but I've not seen it. And like I said, Josh Duhamel, I'm a big fan of Josh, so I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I enjoy his movies. I think he's a good actor. He really brings it in this show. I think he stands out. I mean, to be fair, it really puts him almost like he's definitely a lead, but it puts him almost like the lead, where everything sort of revolves around him and his family, because he is one of the main characters, and for some reason he's like the main Utopian, like they make it seem like he's the most powerful. I don't see why that would be, considering like 6 of them got powers. but it makes it seem like he's the most like powerful and he's the highest to live up to. And his children, who are also featured in this heavily, definitely have a lot to live up to. So it shows, like I said, the present day and how broken his family is, and you know, how broken the world itself is and how America is. And you know, he really stands by this code that he's lived by his whole life, and he tries to keep his children under that same scope, in that box where they follow this code, and he's taught them their whole lives. But then, like I said, you go into the present and you see how broken things are. So like, for example, Chloe, the daughter, is, you know, she's always getting drunk and high, and she's completely like basically disassociated from the family. The youngest son, the son is, you know, he's constantly trying to live up to his dad's standards and become the next utopian at some point, like the next big leader. So he's just trying to fill those shoes. And then, you know, Josh's character himself is very like closed and hardened off because of all the stuff he's experienced and all these years of fighting and, you know, facing evil, and also his own personal internal struggles with himself before I think he was given these powers. And you'll see that as you watch the show. It's really well done. I think it's really good storytelling. I really enjoyed all the stuff they did with him. And I found it interesting, the dynamic that they do in the present tense and how things have changed so much. You know, for example, his wife, you know, even his wife was so very like opinionated and like, you know, brash and bossy when you meet her initially and you see her. And then it fast forwards, like I said, it flashes back to the present day and she's like almost lost her voice. You know, she's just shadowing her husband essentially and following his lead really. And they're all kind of just instilling this lead that he follows and just he leads by example, and they just sort of follow the leader. And everybody seemingly lives in his shadow trying to uphold this. And it becomes a morality question of whether this code applies in this day and age anymore. And, you know, he has like everybody like against him basically, not just his family, but 73% of America agree with like killing rather than the no-kill policy that their code is. So they stand by this code. It's very similar to a lot of heroes. You know, heroes have a code that they don't break. So it's very similar in that sense. But like I said, I like the storytelling. There's a lot of stuff that's really good about this. This held me pretty much until like the last maybe 3 episodes. It also made me cry in the first 2 episodes, which I was not expecting. Josh Duhamel brings it. He really does. His performance is stellar in this. He is the highlight of this, not just because it really revolves around him a lot, more so than other characters, but there are quite a lot of characters. They try and flesh out the characters by giving a lot of backstory, which in turn involves bringing in new people. So there are other characters, but they're really there to just fill the gap. So there's a lot of people that come and go and they're not really that important. There's like focuses, and then there's like their little like spider web around them of people. But the main focus is like one specific character, and you see that a lot in this show. So you've obviously got, you know, your 4 mains, which is Josh Duhamel's character, Leslie Bibb, although she doesn't really have anyone around her except for the actual children themselves. Then you've got his children, and then you've also got Walter, his brother. There's a lot with him as well. And I don't know the actor's name. Again, I'm gonna put up shots during this. I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who plays older Walter is good too. But I think that the guy that plays the younger Walter, or the way that they've done it, he's really, really good. There are some scenes in here that are just really powerful. So like I said, Josh Duhamel, he's really very good in this. Leslie Bibb is really good too. She looks fantastic as well. She literally looks like she hasn't really aged. Like, obviously you can tell she's aged a tad, but it really just seems like a tad. And it's been like at least a decade since I've seen her. She doesn't look that much different. She looks great. Okay, I have to talk about the costumes. I don't know if... I haven't seen that much about the comic book. I just gave a quick glance. So I don't know if this is completely comics accurate, but the costumes look a bit lame. I do like Josh Duhamel's costume though. It's got like this, like, it's almost like inscription, or like it's like a pattern inscription on a white suit. It's quite cool looking, but I don't like Leslie Bibb's costume, and I definitely don't like her son's costume. And Chloe just doesn't wear a costume because she doesn't give a shit. So, I like his costume, but it's a bit cheesy. Their costumes are a little bit cheesy, and the names in these characters' names are a bit cheesy too. They're super weird. But yeah, I guess if I was to read the comic, it'd probably give me a better understanding for it. But it's definitely interesting. So the good things about this show, storytelling is really good. You don't expect to go into something that's a superhero genre and get so much story, but you do. You really do. The flashback sequences are really well done. And I think the general pacing is quite good as well. It only lost me a few times in moments toward the end of the series. So like the last 3 episodes, I'm going to say, it lost me a bit there. Also, it kind of like, this kind of seems like not a prequel, but like an origin story for a lot of these characters. And it really shows you that. Like I said, it shows you who they are now and sort of what they were before, and then how they kind of got to where they are now. But it still gives you like teasers. It doesn't really flesh it out too much. And that's because it ends on a cliffhanger and it's like building up to something, and then it gives you that cliffhanger ending. So I'm sure they'll do another season. I hope they do. Fingers crossed. It was good enough to want another season. To me, this is on the same par as The Witcher. But I think that like maybe this is like a 2-part series. So for me, I think it's built up to all of this stuff. It gave us a lot of information though in the first one, and I think maybe the second season can kind of like, you know, give us more action, more superhero stuff, and then maybe flesh it out a bit more and sort of bring it to a close. I don't think this show so far, from what I've seen, needs 3 seasons. And Netflix tends to like tie it off by the end of the 3rd season if you get there. A lot of really good shows on Netflix have been like that. They only run them for 2 seasons, maybe 3. So I think this is the kind of show that I'd be happy with 2 seasons. But then again, season 2 might be really dope and really good because it's got more action. This has a lot more storytelling. As far as the superhero stuff goes, it's not the greatest. It's not the worst I've ever seen. And I like that it's creatively different to like, if you watch other superhero stuff, I can't speak for the boys, but if you watch, you know, your mainstream superhero stuff, this is definitely different to that. The powers are different. The names are different, costumes are different, and it's definitely a modern time era. So like the way they talk about politics as well implemented into this is also different. And there's almost like factions as well. So it's like 2 different sort of factions almost. But it's very interesting how it's done. So it's not the worst stuff I've seen, but it's not the best. So I think you might enjoy it. But if you don't like lots of story behind it and you just want to see action sort of superhero stuff, this is probably not the show for you, because there's a lot of storytelling in this, mostly around Josh Duhamel's character. But yeah, it's really interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I binge watched it in 2 days because I enjoyed it so much. It only lagged a little bit, but I think it left on a good cliffhanger. I am excited to see what they do with season 2. I want to see more action. I want to see the daughter get involved. Like I said, there were downsides to it. And like I would say, like towards the end, it was a little slow. Definitely the acting. There were some actors that really shined in performance, and I'm going to put them up here, maybe down here. And then there were actors that you could tell just weren't very good. For example, the son, the actor that plays the son, not very good. When he literally just stands there stoic or depressed or brooding or looking like a sad puppy following his dad's footsteps and not being good enough, he looks good. But when he tries to emote, he's not very good at it. Like he's the type of like, he would be great like a Superman, like where he's constantly just like got one face, like the Henry Cavill version of Superman. But like he's not very good when it comes to exploring emotion, I think, in his acting just yet. And there were a few of those because they're not well-known names, and a lot of them, like I said, were put in there for backstory. There were a few of those actors that I didn't think did a great job on screen. The presence was not there. And then there were some that were impressive, like the daughter. Initially, when I saw the daughter, I was like, no. But you know what? The way she plays her character, I think, was well done. And if you watch the show, you understand Chloe goes through some shit. Chloe is a mess. She's a hot mess. So anyway, I enjoyed the show. I don't want to ramble on too much about it, but you guys should check it out. Jupiter's Legacy. It dropped on May the 7th, I believe. So it's just fresh. It's still trending in the top 10. It was number 3 just yesterday. So hopefully you guys will check it out on Netflix and let me know what you think. Drop your thoughts down below. And yeah, I'm interested to see if you guys like it, to see who your favorite character is also. What do you think about the superpowers? What do you think about how it looks visually? And where do you hope they're going to take season 2 story-wise? And what do you want to see for these characters? So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.